So, John Wolf, man, it's been quite the week for me. I got to tell you, after I spoke to you last week and we had a conversation about the games we want to play and all of that, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole, sir. And we'll expound a bit more on it when we talk about the some of the backlog stuff we're talking about. But I gotta tell you, it got me into this new place, man. And I actually think it will actually it has informed both of our segments, both some of the backlog stuff we're talking about and the pro tips stuff we'll be talking about later today. Because man, I went from let me just try to play a game, it'll be fun. The man wants me to play the Punisher. All right, cool, let's see what it went. To okay, now the game is installed. It's a disc that's emulated on my thing because I can never do it the easiest way possible. Had to do it the hardest way possible. It is now a disc. It is running on virtually on my machine. No, it's not running on my machine. It's running on the damn ROG Ally. Okay, let's go. We're on the Ally. But even on the Ally, this game is before 16:9. So how the hell can I get a 16:9? Google, research, mod community. Before long, I have a 16:9. But then it's at 480p. That's the max, by the way. So yeah, there were mods and hacks and this and that. Before long, it's now in 4K, 60 frames, ladies and gentlemen, running on the ROG Ally. All right, we'll show footage later, but I'm just saying, I think it's time we find some of the games of our past, some of the games in the history, and bring them forward. A lot of people have done a lot of the legwork for us already. We just don't know it. I went down the rabbit hole a little deep here on the Punisher last week, but it's pretty exciting. Like, I want to play a bunch of old games again because it's easy to do so now. I just didn't know how easy it was.
That's what I'm talking about, Kate.
Oh my God, this is terrible. What
do you mean?
doing, man?
What do you mean? Kate, can you hear me?
And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. That's it, folks. It's over.
Come on, Kate. I'm just messing around with you, man. Don't be
ruin the show.
I got this little soundboard. I'm gonna drive everybody crazy today, but just the most important thing is don't be
missionary gamers.
All right, that's all I'm asking, man.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
what's up, everyone?
Welcome to the show, which usually is the show that we use to dispel the monolith that we call PCMR, the Gamers Playground. But of course, this week we're a bunch of fools here.
What do you mean, man? I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yes, Mr. John Wolf got himself a new toy. Why don't you regale us? What did you get this week, sir? What's this thing that is now going to be part of our show, whether we like it or not?
I mean, I'm gonna obviously not spam it like some others, aka Gaz here, okay?
Oh no,
who is the master of the soundboard? But yeah, I got an offer for a little mixer that came my way, and I took it up, man. It was super cheap, $50, dude. And this thing does like a lot of stuff that heavy duty mixers do. And yeah, man, I've been playing with it. I plan to use this, for when I get those Call of Duty kills, and then I hit them up with a bruh, and then and then
wow.
when they get upset, you hit them up with a so this thing's a lot of fun, dude. I really recommend that that you pick one up, and we'll go back and forth. But for sure, whenever there's a little something happening, and we gotta put that
missionary gamer voice will do so. But it should be good, man.
Oh my God! All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that this man is going too hard in the paint right now, let me know in the chat. Let us find him some assistance, because
let me use it. Let me get it out of my system, guys. Let me get it out.
Yes, let him get it out of his system. Anyway.
That's $50 ever. No, but I'm gonna use it for. I'm gonna be streaming Call of Duty and stuff, so I'm gonna definitely be using this thing to spam people. But yeah, to piggyback on your opening conversation. For sure, dude. I'm super happy that you got to try out. First of all, the Punisher. That game is one of my all-time favorites. And the way you went about it, Kay. I mean, you're a trooper, dude. You went through hoops just to try to get it on PC because you wanted to stay true to the to the show and the PC.
The show is, man. That's what we here for. We're the PC show, right? So if you ask me to play a game that existed on PC at some point, then I gotta try and find and see if it was on PC. And truth be told, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll share where I got it as well. It's not to say that I literally dug in the crates really hard to find it. All I did was go to the archive.org and type the name of the game in, and it happened to be there, right? And believe it or not, a lot of games that of a certain age, of a certain lineage, you can find there. So it was really cool. I went there. I actually found the Wolverine game. Remember we've talked about that before, right? I found that game there, right? And when you find it there, it's there with a CD image, instructions. If it requires a CD key, they'll give you that. And it's all there, like
Kirby Luiz.
Above board.
Listen, Kirby Luiz he's begging you to stop. Don't give anybody our secrets. He says, "Stop it. Don't do it."
This man, no. It's look. I see him in the chat. He said, "No."
He's like, he wishes he had a soundboard right now. He's like, "Stop it."
Club. No, it's been there for a long time. I've actually researched its legality. It's basically there for the purposes of what do you call it? Game preservation. So when you go there, yes, it's a cesspool. Let's just say, in both the worst and best ways, it's a cesspool. But because it's for the purposes of game preservation, and that kind of speaks to the internet as a whole, no one's going over there and policing what's being put into it. So, needless to say, if you're looking for certain things, you can really look online there and find a bunch of stuff within that archive space. So, I was able to find this there, the Punisher. And of course, once you found it, that's just half the battle, because then you gotta find the no CD, the no CD hack for it, which it's not really a hack, but basically it's a modification of the executable that lets you run the game without asking it for a CD. Right, so then it's running on the disc without having the ISOs mounted, right? And then of course, then it becomes, hey, I want to get 480p from 1080p from 480p. See what INI files can be modified. All this stuff. It was an interesting little weekend I spent trying to get this thing work. I actually spent more time getting it running right on the system
than
I actually did playing the game.
Yeah,
right?
That happens.
And the only thing that actually didn't work well was so this is one of those games that had no controller support, like none. It was made before controller support on PC games was a thing. So if you happen to play the PC version of it, there was no controller support for you there, right? So of course, on the ROG Ally and devices of its kind, you can map controller, even keyboard you can map, right? So with that, I was able to map it, but obviously since it's not one-to-one, since it wasn't meant for the controller, it was a very bad day, ladies and gentlemen. It was a bad day.
And you didn't want to play with mouse and keyboard, like you wanted that because you were trying to play it on one of the devices.
I'm on the ROG Ally, right?
Yeah, I got
ROG Ally.
Okay.
Like the bigger you blow it up, the worse it looks, right? And I didn't want to blow it up on the big command deck screen I got here that I'm podcasting from. I want it on that nice 7-inch screen.
No, I commend you.
It's nice and crisp and all that.
Yeah, I commend you for your for your dedication to try to get the PC version running. Just if you do get around to it, any way that you can. The way that I played it last was through the PS2 emulator, and it 1440p. It was running. Yeah, it was running real good. Excellent. And I enjoyed the game. I played like maybe a few hours into it, and I remembered how great it was. But we'll get to that segment eventually, right? But I know that.
Well, you know what? Before we even get there, and we've already talked about it a little bit. Let me first and foremost thank everybody for jumping in here.
For sure.
As you can see, we are one cam down. That's because your boy ain't feeling right today. Saying up to it. So the show must go on, but your boy's gonna be camless today. And
everybody send your everybody send your well wishes to Kay. He's being a champ for us today, man. So
I'm being a prima donna today. Y'all can't see my face today. No, but I appreciate
All
y'all
right.
coming out.
We
and
got
hanging
you.
out
We
with
got
us.
you. And if you're not feeling good, we'll just we'll just hit you up.
with some of this, and maybe we'll convince you to
We're
stay.
we're gonna call it early, ladies and gentlemen. The show's gonna last 12 minutes today. Good night, everybody. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. So yes, Mr. Joanna Dark, I see you in there. I see Nixie in there. I see Kirby Louise. Thank you guys all so much for
Whoa,
pulling
whoa,
up.
you mean
Now-
Mr. Joanna Refrigerator Dark?
Oh,
That
yeah.
He won a
Yes,
fridge
yes.
last night on Web
I need
Date
to
Show
pull-
and Retro
yes,
Show.
I need to pull a card on this man. He is the handheld master, buying handhelds from far and wide, and
He's
he
the
wins an Xbox
fridge
mini
master.
fridge. He is now the fridge master.
He's the
Sir,
fridge master now.
Hopefully you enjoy your fridge. I'm sure he already has one. I don't know. I would be surprised if he didn't already have one. But
I don't know,
whatever you
man.
want.
I'm smelling a Don King fix on this one, man.
Oh, come
and
on.
I see he already wrote me. What do you mean, Rick? Nah, I'm just playing, man. Enjoy the fridge. I'm just being a hater.
Of course you are. I can definitely tell your hateration right now. I can see you drinking.
Look,
it.
I'm drinking
You see?
something right now.
Yes. So you know what? Let's actually talk about that segment. Like we talked about it a little bit about how we're in that mode of wanting to play those old school games, and we were talking about the backlog brothers segment that we were talking about.
Yep.
Believe it or
It's
not,
us.
after all was said and done, I actually captured footage on the ROG Ally, ladies and gentlemen. This
Nice.
is and I gotta tell you, that's I've been doing that whole pluses and minuses of comparing the ROG Ally to the Steam Deck. That is a plus of the ROG Ally that the Steam Deck in its vanilla form can't handle.
Right.
You can't just hit record and have footage for something. Since it's released, they do have third-party software and whatever, and you can kind of run third-party and have a screen recording function there. But this is full big standard Windows. You hit the button, it's meant to work. It's actually perfect. So,
Dude, talk to me real fast about the what do you think? I think Asus keeps on releasing these updates. I think they're doing a good job to keep up with the hardware, man, and with the software.
I have to say I'm impressed.
Mhm.
Today I got an update.
Right.
I got an update today, and now with the update that I got today, it updated the firmware, and I also got now the feature to do turbo on all buttons, like every
Right.
button. You can do turbo. You can add turbos on all that. It did a few quality of life features here and there. It made the command center a bit more stable. It doesn't like crash and stuff. It is quite good. I gotta say, I gotta give them credit.
It's a good sign. It's a good
Yes,
sign because that's something that we talked early on, that we were scared that if the sales weren't strong enough, they were just gonna give up on the device and on the line of products. So it looks like it might be doing well because they keep on churning up the updates, the quality of life stuff like you talked about. Now, if AMD would get on the ball and do what they need to do,
and do
it'll
what they
go
need to
hand in
do,
hand.
right? Absolutely, it would be perfect. But so far, I gotta give them credit. Like I gotta 100% give them credit. ROG, Asus, they're doing it. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're supporting
doing
the
it.
device. It's looking mighty good. So for now, I say shout out to them, salute to them. They're doing good work.
All
I
right.
see
Talk to
BT
me.
Maverick 707 in the chat. One of the great supporters here. We appreciate you for being here. He left a $5 super chat and asked the question, "What up, dudes?" So my question is, how should I know when to upgrade my SSD and RAM and other types of CPU, other types of PC hardware outside of CPU and GPU?
That's a great question.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
That is an awesome question. And actually, before I even tackle that question, shout out to the man, Kirby Zero Louise, in the chat, already handling the question for us. Thank you, sir. He says, only upgrade when you need it. Games and apps aren't running the way you want them to because of the RAM, meaning your response time, slowness, things of that nature. Also, RAM needs to be compatible and SSD, which is whatever the best value.
That's the right answer,
I
but
wholeheartedly agree. Mhm.
that's
Go
the
ahead.
right answer, but the real answer is when the FOMO hits. That's the real.
No.
That's the real
I
answer.
do not endorse I do not endorse Mr. Miami Heat's answer over here, Mr.
I'm gonna give you that Latino
Mr.
Heat
Missionary
answer.
Gamer, Mr.
No,
Missionary Gamer answer here. No,
No.
I say,
It's when
I
that
say-
FOMO hits.
much like Kirby Louise, I say you upgrade. Usually my RAM, like okay, and it all depends on the context, right? So if you're a person that's running a pre-built, right, and you may wanna like upgrade and get more solid parts. Sometimes maybe your RAM, they didn't max out your RAM for you or whatever. You have.
Did you
What
just
was-
see that guy get thrown out the window, dude?
Oh,
I love
yeah.
this game. I'm
This
sorry,
game is
dude.
like- this game is relentless. It's just ridiculous. And,
We'll get into
and
it.
the-
We'll get into it.
and the voiceovers are hilarious.
I
Oh my
told
god,
you.
it's hilarious.
It's a gem. Go ahead.
Anyway, so on the point of PC, so it's basically about when you feel that you when you set the benchmark on your PC, you can feel at a certain point that like it changes, right? All of a sudden, it's like when you drive a car for a while. Like when the fuel efficiency starts to go, you start feeling it, right? When the car starts veering left, you start feeling it. Why? Because you've used it for so long that you now start noticing when you start losing your efficiency. That's when I would say you start looking for upgrades. And usually, if you buy pre-built or if you built a good one in the first place, chances are you're looking at a CPU and or GPU upgrade, maybe RAM, because if it's a pre-built, chances are you can go you can max your motherboard or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
See-
the thing is,
see, I appreciate Kirby Louise keeping people in the chat and on the panel.
Look,
on the panel.
Seriously, look. The thing is this, right? And you
Uh-huh.
guys, you and Kirby Louise are giving the correct answer, right?
We're
But-
here for sage advice, sir.
Right.
The man spent his hard-earned shillings, and we need to give him sage advice for those shillings.
No,
sir.
absolutely.
Mr. FOMO.
And but the thing is that the FOMO is real, right? So I also want to tackle it from that point of view, because
True.
even though that's why we had the conversation last week with Kirby Zero
Uh-huh.
Louise, which if you guys didn't listen to that show, go back and listen to it. That was something that we touched on. These manufacturers are making gamers and PC enthusiasts and they're making their job is to make you feel like if what you have is not good enough for the upgrade, right? So it really depends on
Well, but see,
what's
at the
good
end of the
enough.
day, though, at the end of the day, though, yes, that's their job. But
Right.
It's our job to empower you to know that they're full of BS. So don't listen.
Exactly.
To them.
Exactly.
Don't listen to that.
But that FOMO is real, so that's another thing.
True.
So
The
as long
FOMO
as-
is real. The
As
FOMO is
long
real.
as you're
I
one
won't
with the
deny that.
FOMO, okay, you got to be one with the FOMO for you not to fall for the FOMO. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Remember that. Okay.
So, by the way, you see me knocking a bunch of people down before I shoot them. It's because
Yes.
I couldn't get the aiming to work. 'Cause look, the aiming would not work. It would not work because
Dude, you're
the
butchering the
keyboard
game.
mouse-
What are you doing? You're supposed to shoot him in the
Aiming
face.
was the aiming was dreadful. Look, dreadful. So you'd have to, I have
Oh.
to get close. The aiming was just
Your
gross. It
dude,
was
your
just,
aiming might be worse than Mr. Boomstick's driving. I'll tell you that
Look,
much.
look at that, look at that. No, but
Oh,
it's honestly
man.
because of the hodgepodge way I had to make it work. Right, it doesn't support keyboard, right? Controls, and I was using a controller to do it. It was just terrible. It was just me trying to go all in on this idea of on PC and not even using a controller. Using
All
a
right.
keyboard mouse.
So,
Yeah.
so talk to me about the now defunct THQ and Violation, right? They're the ones that made
Yeah,
this, I think.
Volition. Yeah, Volition.
Volition. Sorry. Talk
Mhm.
to me about the greatness that's on screen right now, okay? Because this is okay. So remember how a few weeks back we had a conversation that I missed the days that these developers were trying to make games sort of like other games. So as you can tell, this took the template of Max Payne and tried to kind of say, hey, this kind of template fits with Punisher. Okay, so
The shooting
tell me.
is so terrible. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I mean, dude,
I should have used the
can't-
mouse. I just should have used the mouse. That's all it was. I should have used the mouse.
so talk to me. I know you're trying. You're probably frustrated. You're aggravated at the controls, but
Uh-huh.
talk to me about
Because-
about
So
this
another,
game.
another
How do you
reason why
feel?
this game was defaulted to inverted controls. It's one of those. It's that time of that time frame when PC.
Oh, shot him in the
inverted.
nuts.
I know, right? this is back when inverted was the normal way and non-inverted was abnormal, right? So all that like combined into soup of ridiculousness in the control scheme here. I'm sure if I break
by the
out a
way,
keyboard and mouse, it play better.
And
but
by
I
the
just
way,
did not wanna do it. Yes.
if Mr. Joanna Dark, if you plan on playing Red Dead on the Switch, this is gonna be your this is gonna be the way you're gonna be playing Red Dead, because on the Switch you're not gonna be able to see who's in front of you and all that stuff at 360p. So get ready for that.
360p, he says. Okay, so no, the game itself, believe it or not, it obviously is a figment of its time. Obviously, we know this, right? It is like it's an artifact of its time. Look at the textures on the wall or the lack thereof or whatever.
It's great.
Right?
It's fantastic.
But at the end of the day, like they were doing
Nice.
a lot. They were doing a lot with a little in this game, and I can respect it. Absolutely, I can. You know,
There's
I can see the Max Payne lineage for damn sure. You know, it's not very Max Payne, right? But at the end of the day, it was really fun. It was really fun, and I actually enjoyed it. I played it for some time. This footage was captured on the ROG Ally with the controller, but I eventually ended up blowing it out to the 4K screen and playing it at 4K 60 on the PC. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like I would think that they need to bring something like not like this back, but the idea should come back. Like the Punisher deserves his day, right? Like you could make a really great first-person shooter, you know, a la Wolfenstein, but in the new way, and just be the Punisher. Basically, that's what it is, right?
I mean, the
Punisher
thing
is that.
Like I told you, I played Watch Dogs 1 with the Punisher skin mod, and that was kind of like the Punisher brought to you know current times, and that was great. But the Punisher is someone that deserves a game. I mean, I would even love at this stage. I mean, we'll even take, I guess, a first person shooter. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the team that made Wolfenstein? Machine Games making a Punisher game? How good?
Absolutely. That's what I said. You know, Wolfenstein. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. So if you know, if they were to throw their hat in there, but this particular game, right, to go back to it, one of the things that I really enjoyed and why it's one of my top Marvel games is because it's true to the character. This had a lot of inspiration from one of the Punisher's greatest runs, which was written by Garth Ennis, and it kind of follows, you know, beat for beat. I think from his first couple of chapters that he wrote, or whatever the case may be. But the Thomas Jane, right? To go into the voice acting, did you listen to a couple of lines from Thomas Jane in this?
I remember the movie. I remember the movie where Thomas Jane actually played the character. Yeah. So this all reminded. This was pretty good. It was great. Very pulpy, very reminiscent of the subject matter, the source material. It was cool. I dug it.
Yeah, and you know, just to go back, if anyone is interested, I really recommend it. Like, you know, Kay went through hoops to try to play it, through try to keep the PC, you know.
Yeah, this is the authentic PC flavor right here, man.
Yeah, this is definitely not the way you want to play. All right, just if
you want to play it the easy way. Get yourself an emulator, and I'm sure you'll be able to find ways to get this thing done. It's far more capable than this was. I mean, if I continue working on it, I'm sure I'll be able to find more mods. Like, the difference here, though, is I'm sure if you keep working on it, you'll find someone that's taken this thing super seriously and gone like in the crazy direction with it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I played this for a couple hours and I was done with it because So before we move, before we move forward, let me. So, is it my turn to choose the next? The next.
Yeah, you now you choose what game you want me to play. If there, it could be anything. You know, it could be recent. It could be old school.
So let me. And this is backlog, so it can be old and new.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Doesn't matter.
Let's
Whatever
go
you want.
newer. Let's go newer, but not too new because that's not the type of person we are. We're gray beards here, all right? You mentioned.
I did the Just for Men treatment, you know.
Oh, so, there he goes.
There you go. You know, got to keep that. Got to keep the white.
You mentioned Watch Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played Sleeping Dogs, sir?
I have. Yes.
Have you beaten the game?
No, never beaten it. But I played it. I think I've owned that game like on 3 different platforms. But yes, Fantastic game.
How much of that game have you played?
Man, I want to say the furthest I got was, I think, on the 360. Yeah, I want to say on the 360 is the furthest.
Like, do you roughly remember the storyline and all that, or no?
I remember.
I gotta tell you, it's a great story. I remember playing that game and going, "Oh yeah, we need like more GTAs outside of America. We need."
I'll put it to you like this: I
So
haven't played
good.
it. I haven't played it for long. I played it so long ago that I honestly just don't remember. Much. I remember the opening scene that you're doing a chase or something like that. That I do remember, but I don't remember.
Chasing you, cops are chasing you. Yep.
Yeah, that I do remember, but honestly, I don't remember much. I mean, I remember I liked the game. I just don't know why I didn't.
The lead protagonist is a really cool, like a great actor who's been in many films. Like I think if and that game has been so cheap. They have been trying to give that game away for a long time. Like there's a big long lineage in that game. There was supposed to be a part 2 and never came to be. It turned into a different game. It's a whole thing, right?
Now let me ask you something. I just thought of something right now. Wasn't that game originally True Crime, and then they bought the rights or something like that and changed the name?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
It was the True Crime IP. It was the True Crime assets that were then eventually converted. And yes.
Oh, okay.
I think you should play it. And my challenge to you is really play the game and see if it's a game worth playing in today's day and age. Does it hold up? Is my question. Like,
for what? For like a remake, you mean, or for like a new iteration?
like as if it's made today. Like today. I want you to play Watch Dogs because I have a feeling that it holds up. I have this. Maybe I'm rose tinted glasses on this one, but I really feel like it holds up like well. Like it really
combat
holds up.
I think not just
the combat, maybe the combat, but more the storyline and the cinematics and how they deliver it. I feel like you can still play through that game and get to the end and be like, yes, this was an awesome game, even though it was made a long time ago at this point.
Okay,
I really feel like it's worthy right now. It's still,
I'll take. I think I own it on Steam, so for sure. Yeah. I haven't booted in a long time, so I'll be glad to play that this week.
Okay.
I got one for you, and it's not for you to come back and do a review or anything like that, or give me your thoughts on it. I just legitimately want you, because I know that you have a couple of little ones, and I legitimately want you to play this with them, because my daughter, I played it with her. I recorded us, streaming, playing just together, so I can have that as memories. Dude, try out that new Disney Illusion Island game. It's try it out. Did you already try it out? You already got it from him?
I've been playing it with the whole fam, man. We playing
there you go.
Player at the house, bro. We playing 4-player at the house. It's great. It's a beautiful game,
dude.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It's a very light Ori. You know what I'm saying? It has a lot of very light Ori
style.
Yeah, very light. And my daughter loved it when she was playing. She's obsessed. She was already asking me, when I come back, to your house, can we play again? So we're gonna I'm gonna record the whole thing because I want that memory of us. So anybody have kids out there? Disney Illusion Island just came out, I think, on the Switch. Fantastic game for you guys to play with the little ones.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, I will do a few honorable mentions before we move forward, because it's just been that kind of a week for me. Double Dragons, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man, you've been praising this thing.
If you haven't played this game, you need to. Now, I won't go too hard, because if you've watched my show, you probably saw it on GCP, and I was talking about it there as well. On this show, the context where I will leave you and I'll move forward is the reason why you want to play it in a PC context. You could put this thing to 70. You can lock it to 7 TDP and still get 60 frames per second. 7 TDP, which is the lowest you can get on the ROG Ally. So low that you have to turn off. And by the way, that's a little side pro tip. Here you go. ROG Ally. If you set it to 7 TDP. It can still run Windows and all and play games, but you're gonna have to turn off Dolby Atmos because it doesn't have enough watts to do the processing. So you'll hear it crackle your audio when you're doing it. But yes, you can totally do that. 7 watts, lock it. You could play this game for like 8 hours or something, and it's
720p,
smooth as butter. Yeah, 720p, and
Okay.
and I even do 720p, and I do 720p RSR, and then it RSRs at the 1080p. But you don't even need to because the game just looks great in native and everything else, right? Butter. It's one of the most addictive games. I am not going to go on because I've spent too much tea on this game.
No, I
Final
mean,
game I've been
and
playing,
rightfully so. I listened to the show this past weekend, and you and
Yeah.
Everborn were praising it. And
Yeah.
dude, I tried it out, and I think it's pretty good. I
Mhm.
didn't play much of it. I played maybe half an hour. Again, I was playing it with the little one. I was like, "Hey, do you want to
Yep.
play this, or you want to go back to the Mickey game?" And of course, she's gonna
They
pick the
went to
Mickey
Mickey,
game.
of course.
Yeah, of course. So
This
this
game, well, I will say it starts with its worst foot forward, meaning it's slow. Maybe the big head thing doesn't appeal to many people. Like, if you don't remember the beat 'em up style, you'll be like, "Oh, this is a bad rendition." But trust me, move on and keep playing it, because just like I believe that Sifu is the actual evolution of the beat 'em up, I believe that this is Shredder's Revenge. This is, what do you call it? Streets of Rage 4. This is
that level good.
Yes, that level addictive, that level good. It's very good. The only thing missing is online co-op. When we have online co-op, it will be gold. It doesn't have online co-op. It's coming.
They need to stop doing that for these types
I
of
know
games.
they need to release them with online co-op day one.
Yeah,
I mean, it's coming later, because it seems to lose its thread before the game comes with online
Right.
co-op, and by then people have moved on. That kind of thing.
Right. And Turtles in Time will forever be my top 5 game, because that game I'm a gamer today because of that game. And honestly, any time that they release these beat 'em ups, man, it brings a smile to my face, and I'll be glad to support this. I'll pick this up on Steam, and then hopefully by then it'll have online play, and me, you, Everborn, and the rest of the GCP crew can get together.
Yeah,
how many players do you think that they'll do? Four?
Honestly,
3?
I think
what is it?
4 most likely 4, right? Most likely, and the reason why I think online co-op will really help this game is, unlike most 2D games of any kind, I have never seen a game of this kind balance the different classes so well. It's very balanced. I'm talking, you have your bruiser, you have your rogue character, and they're each like legitimately weakened in other aspects in order to compensate in another place, right? So when you're rolling deep with 4 people, you really got a whole team. You have to protect the dude with the shield will protect from bullets, while others are protecting from above because that guy can't jump well, and it's very well balanced. They did a great job. Like,
I love when
really
games do. I love when games do the little thing, like right in front of you, the vending machine. That's clearly Pepsi, but since they can't use it, it says something else.
Yeah,
like that meta stuff.
Nope.
I love it. I love when games and comics do that.
On the topic of meta, you didn't see it here, but the loading screens are literally how the game used to really look.
Yes, and the NES.
It brings a smile to my face. I love this game. Everyone should play it, and they should keep the flame burning bright for it, so that when the online multiplayer comes, we can continue playing it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick this up, and I'll pick this up, and I'll play Stranglehold. I'll try out both this weekend. I'll let you know when we get back what I feel, because I know you have high praise for this game, and
it's
great,
I
want to give it a shot.
It's so much fun. And I will have another game of this kind on my playlist soon enough, but I'm giving this one its room to breathe, and I'm going to play that one fully, because when I played this one, Mr. Boomstick said, "Oh, you like this game? Well, I got another game for you," and he pulled out another one that he asked me to play, and man, that one is just as addictive.
Well, what's the name of that one?
No.
You're gonna hold it?
I'm going to talk about it.
Back pocket?
I'm holding it. I'm holding it.
Okay.
And that's also very beautiful and awesome looking and everything else. So we'll talk about that one another time.
I got something I want to say real fast before.
Please,
do you want to?
yeah.
You have one more game you want to go through?
Final game I was going to
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Go first, and then
Dead
I'll
Island 2. I haven't played it fully. This is my first hour playthrough of Dead Island 2. I got to say, man, this game has no right to look as good as it does. I'm paying, gotta say, playing on the 4090, playing on the big dog, liquid cooled and all that. When I do, I gotta open both of my windows, because man, that heat starts to blowing.
You mean
that game is amazing.
Epic Games exclusive Dead Island 2, right? That's what you mean? Because that was a big turnoff for me. I'm like,
Yes, it was. I know.
I'm into the missionary. I guess you can say launchers now. Okay, are you a
Oh,
missionary
that
launcher
is
gamer or
you
what?
are
Because
you are a missionary launcher gamer. Clearly, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
clearly
And
because I'm like, oh, another
uh
launcher. Here we go.
yep. See, and as you see, right, and of course, the game is very well optimized. As you can see, everything was turned on. Everything was maxed out. It only has FSR. It does not have DLSS, which I thought was a little
Wow.
sad. But
That's what we talked about last week. These companies are holding back.
yes, we
they're,
do. Yes,
they're
they are.
making, they're doing marketing deals.
Yep. It only has one, not the other. That's true. But at the end of the day, it was very well optimized, the game in general. So I had like ridiculous overhead. I was playing this thing at 144 frames per second,
Nice.
4K, ray traced, the whole deal. It was just there.
Oh, but
It's
at
all there, so.
stage, you don't even need one of the you don't need the DLSS or none of that stuff.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
that's good that it's well optimized for NVIDIA cards. That's a real good job. I mean, I know that they worked on this game for what, like 10 years almost. So
yeah, off and on for 10 years, like assets reused. They built it, rebuilt it. The very last team didn't, to my understanding, didn't continue on from what was started. It was kind of restarted the very last 3 or 4 years ago or something, based on what they were talking about in the documentaries that of theirs that I watched. But yeah, it seems like they finally struck gold with this thing. They really were like, screw it, we're gonna make a good rendition of the game, and I really love it. Like, so real quick, we'll move forward, but I'm in the mindset where and I said this on my show, until Starfield comes and goes, I'm not ready for any real big monster games.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But this game's story is awesome. I love the story. I love the characters. There are a bunch of wacky morons that do really stupid things. The graphics.
Is that Lenny Kravitz right there?
There you go. Right?
It looks like Lenny.
It's so cool. The graphics are insane. When they start, oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's how it started, right? They she went for a selfie and got eaten.
Zombies on a plane, dude. Where's Samuel L. Jackson? I know he has to be in this game.
The flesh being cleaved off of people's face on this thing, holy crap, sir! It is
nice,
insane the level of quality that they have on display. They have this flesh system for all the zombies. It's really, really cool. So if John Wolf was being a what I like to call a troglodyte, but what he calls a missionary gamer by not playing it on the Epic Game Store, I happen to have gotten the game for $30,
nice.
American dollars. So I could not pass it up.
Is that still up for sale for $30?
I honestly did not check. I apologize. But you know what? Let's hark back to our old pro tip. Always check them deals.gg. Go to the deals.gg. I'm sure you'll find a really good deal on that game. But yeah,
for sure.
I'm gonna keep playing it and let you guys know more details on it as it comes. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. It's been pretty cool. It's a pretty cool game. I really do enjoy it. But
let me ask you, right? And I got two things before we go on, but let me ask you the first thing. Be real with me. How do you feel when you hear games coming to the Epic Game Store exclusively? Like, does it just rub you the wrong way, dude? Or are you okay with it? Have you accepted it already?
Honestly, it bothers me not one bit. Do you know why?
Why is
because the Epic Game Store got me to use their service in the best way possible, the right way. Okay. And when I say the right way, you'll laugh, but to me, it's the right way. What's the right way? You got me through bribery. They bribed me.
They gave you free stuff, basically.
They gave me copious amounts of free stuff. If I show you all the free stuff that they offer, like ever since the Epic Game Store came to be the Epic Game Store, and hey, please join our subscription service, not subscription, but our storefront. Please join us. They've been throwing games at the consumer left and right. Now, I'll quickly show you here. Here's my Epic Game Store library, as you can see. Okay, I will say of this library, less than 4 have been purchased by me from the Epic Game Store, because they want you to buy it from the Epic Game Store. But and because I go there from time to time, yes, I get games from the Epic Game Store, but 4 or less have been purchased, right?
Wow.
And I won't tell you which 4 they are. And yes, look at all the games that I have there. Yes, the who's who of AAA, AA, and indies, right? And yeah, there's a lot of them in there, and maybe 1 or 2 of them I bought, but the rest were all Epic Game Store hand given to me, right? I could keep going. This
Nice.
just I could just keep going. Like, this is it. Like, look at this. And each of them are very good games. There are a lot of very good games in this list. As soon as I put this on the ROGL, I had a great library. Like,
That's right.
look at this,
Mhm.
You know, and all of this free 99, ladies and gentlemen. Free 99. So
and this is where those game organizers work. You know, like the launch
Mhm.
boxes of the world.
that's right.
You know,
that's
your
right.
play nights. So okay, I
Mhm.
mean, the thing is that whenever
I'm still scrolling, folks. I'm still scrolling. Look
Since-
at this. I'm still
since-
scrolling. Yes,
that's the one
right.
thing-
You saw it. Tetris Connected, the greatest game known to man, also given to me for free. Yeah,
nice.
I'm still scrolling.
Oh, Shadow Complex right there. So
And
that-
Shadow Complex, like I told you. Yes. Mhm.
So that's the thing about PC gaming, you know, being new to the space, the launchers, dude. It was a little overwhelming at first. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
what's going on? Why is this game you know, Wildlands,
Yeah.
Ghost Recon, why is this taking so long to load? What's going on here? Oh, it's because I had to launch the Ubisoft
The
you know,
Ubisoft
launcher.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah,
it was quite a learning experience. I mean, I'm over it now. I understand how it works, but I still kind of chuckle whenever I hear that
Kirby
there's
Zero
there's
Louise,
an
you're going to
exclusive.
lose your invite in the mail, sir. There will be no Tetris slander. It is objectively the greatest game ever made.
It's
It
not
is the
better
game
than
you
Luminous, but yeah, you're right.
It
I
is the
mean,
game you take on a desert island, because even Luminous, eventually the songs get old.
Hmm.
Tetris is a purity. It's the come on now. Tetris Connected made all the money in the world, and that game was invented in the 80s.
it's been
I'm sorry.
tested through time. So
Yes,
you know,
come at me when your Puyo is 30 years
Puyo.
old, when it's 50 years old.
that sounds like a chicken place in Spanish.
Exactly. Come at me when your pollo is you know what I'm saying? No, but for real, I do like the games. Like those styles of games always
Dude,
like that
Ruiner,
for
that's-
creativity.
That Ruiner, that's a good game. I like that Ruiner
absolutely.
game.
Yeah. I'm telling you, all of these Epic Game Store, right? You know, so and yes, even GTA 5, Epic Game Store for free. They gave it to me, right? So I say all this to say, do not listen to the troglodyte that is Mr. John Wolf on this account. We here at the Gamers Playground wholeheartedly advocate
Listen.
for you to take whatever they choose to give you, because you're leaving money on the table if you don't.
Listen, I'm gonna bring it out.
Mhm.
Latino heat.
I'm bringing out the Latino heat right now. Okay, I'm calling timeout right now.
Sure. Okay. Go ahead. Call time out.
I-
Go ahead. What's the problem?
I listen. I'm getting used to it. I don't mind the different launchers and stuff like that. It's part
It's a
of the
different
PC
mouse
world.
click, man. Come
Hey,
on.
listen,
Talk about
man.
your first world problem.
Listen,
It's a
man.
different mouse
I
click.
want people in the chat to be real.
Mhm.
Is it annoying or not? That's all I'm saying. It's annoying. Even me, I'm getting used to this PC thing, dude. It's a turnoff. Like, and then when you hear, oh, here we go, Epic Games exclusive,
Uh-huh.
dude. I'm like, oh, why? You know, and if you don't say that, you're not being real. Come on, people, be real, okay?
I'm being real, and I'm saying it's a simple mouse click, and then I have to spend less than the $70 or $60 I would have spent. So please, give
We're the
me
PC crowd,
newest,
man. We don't
obscurest-
want to click. We
give
want it
me
easy.
the newest, most obscurest like launcher on earth. As long as it's free 99, I'm there for you, sir. I'm there. If I show you the Amazon launcher, because you know Amazon also has a launcher.
Yes,
If I show you
of course
the
they do.
list of
Everybody does.
Amazon launcher games I have like 500 games in the Amazon launcher. And today, by the way, a pro tip: Amazon launcher, Amazon Games gave away Payday 2 with a whole bunch of DLCs in
Nice.
preparation for the next Payday. You know, and now it'll be available on that damn Amazon launcher, right? So there you go. For me, I'm where the games are. You tell me that you have a game for me, I will install your damn launcher.
I'm simple-minded, kid. That's the problem. Me, I like to open up Steam now and look at the library growing, and I know you can add a non-Steam game and all that, but then it's cheap. It's not real. It's not really,
Lord.
you're just creating a shortcut that can be on your desktop.
It's not a real Nike. It's a swoosh. The swoosh is not the same. You bought that from the corner store. Oh, it's not real.
Listen, man, I don't want to be one of those
missionary gamers.
But those launchers are killing me, man. I'm telling you.
This guy and his missionary gamer. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move forward. I first and foremost thank everybody for jumping on here, for being in the chat, for having a great conversation with us. We see you. We appreciate you. Hit that like button if you choose to. We appreciate you. If you have some feedback, you are more than welcome to provide that to us. We take all that in. We want to make this show better for us, for you, for all of us, right? It's by us, for us, as they say. So, you're here, you're enjoying your time. Hit that like button and give us some feedback on how you think we should make this better. Now, Mr. Wolf, you asked me to talk about a topic this week that is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Resources. Now, I want you to break that up a little bit because, I appreciate, and for those who don't know, on this show, most of the topics are leading through John because John is new to this. He's fresh eyes, right? Some of us take some of this stuff we do for granted. You just run it all day. You're just used to it, right? But John's going through it fresh in many ways. So sometimes he has ideas and he brings up questions that make me think things in a different way. And I think that's super interesting. So, John, you were talking about resources and how you dole them out and when you should know your performance metrics, things like that. Like, give me your thoughts on it. Like, as you've gotten into this gaming thing so far on this PC side, right? On the console side, you don't have to think about any of that. Does it hit 60 frames? Yes, it does. Does it crawl a little bit? Oh yeah, you feel a little bit of a snag. That's it. You move forward, right? Or the most of the choices you're given is performance versus fidelity, right? Or some subset in between. Obviously, on the PC side, you get a lot more granular depending on the game. Some of them are easy. Some of them are down to foliage and cloud cover and all this extra stuff, right? So how has that been for you in your new, journeys in the PC world?
Yeah. So first of all, shout out to Thomas Bellotti from France. What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. So we appreciate it.
To you, sir.
Salute, sir.
Yes.
So okay. So what brought this subject, to my mind for this week that I wanted to talk to you? Because honestly, like I said, we do this show so I could pick your brain. So I learned, and this is gonna be comical, but this will show you how new I am to PC gaming. Okay, what a rookie I am. So I've been going through the last couple of weeks trying to reorganize myself for productivity, gaming, and I've been looking at my setup. I'm like, okay, how can I better my situation here so I can be more productive for work and at the same time be comfortable for gaming and streaming and stuff like that. So I came up with a game plan, and I wanted to get a side monitor so I can look at the chat and stuff like that. Plus it's going to help with work with presentations and reports and stuff. So I ended up getting a 13-inch OLED that was on sale through Amazon. Dude, it's fantastic. The quality, it's really recommend these small OLEDs that they're selling on Amazon, even though that they're no-name brands and they're the TLCs of the world. Shout out to King David. They're pretty good for just getting the job done. It's not your main monitor or anything, but to have something on the side, it's good enough. Got some lights, got some stuff. Okay, bottom line. So I mount everything. Everything's ready to go, and I start playing Modern Warfare 2. Okay, and I know that typically through PC Modern Warfare 2, I usually I have a 4070, so I usually get around 120 130 frames depending on the map, stuff like that. Dude, I all of a sudden I got the little ticker up and I see that I'm in the 80s and 90s, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. I recognize this map. I'm usually in the triple digits here. What's going on? Let me look into, let me see why. Is something running on the background? Did I do something different? So one of the things I found out first was, yes, in fact, there was something running in the background. It was that I was using the wallpaper app through Steam So I had a wallpaper going through 2 monitors, so I turned that down. I gained a couple of FPS, at least 10 to 15 FPS there, and then I really didn't see anything else was running on the background. So I'm like, let me unplug the second monitor and see if my FPS goes up. Lo and behold, it did. So I quickly learned that the more, obviously, and this is common sense, but again, being new to this, it's things that I don't know. I was using up resources to run the second monitor, to run my wallpaper app, and it was taking away from my gaming experience, right? And again, like it hit me, like of course, you know what I'm saying? But when you're new to this world, stuff like that, you really don't think about it because you think, hey, everything's gonna run as is because on my console, everything works as always as is, right? So that's what I want to talk to you about, resources, because me and you talked in the green room. We might be working on a little project that for my productivity that I said, and it looks like you're wanting to work on something similar, and that's that we want to get one of those OLED panels, those widescreen ones, to really measure the performance and stuff like that. You want to do a case mod. So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the resources, and this is not a one size fits all conversation. What's important to UK might be different than what's important to me. I FPS is important to me, even more than resolution, even more than anything. Yours might be resolution, yours might be something else. But here's the thing that I don't understand yet, and maybe you can break down how you look at these things. What are we looking at here? Because I went down a rabbit hole of downloading what's this software called? The one that measures your FPS.
3D Mark?
No, not 3D Mark.
There are many tools out there.
Tell you right now.
There are open source versions. There are variants for Android, variants for AMD versus Intel, AMD versus Afterburner. There you go. I see Kirby Louise in the
Afterburner
is one of them.
Afterburner. There you go. Thanks, Kirby Louise. Okay. He always bails us out. Okay. So I downloaded Afterburner. That's right. I have the little icon down here. Okay. Started measuring the performance. I'm like, okay, let me see what the difference is between when I have the second monitor on, and I don't. And I started seeing the CPU utilization go up. I started seeing the graphics go up and stuff like that. But here's the thing where I'm confused.
You don't have a barometer to judge it against.
I don't know what am I looking at, because the RAM usage, do I want these things, going all the way up when I'm gaming? Do I want them to be low? Obviously, I know that temperature needs to be a certain range, but what am I looking at here? Like, and that's something that maybe we can get into.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we'll do this high level right now, and if folks want to dive deep, we'll go deeper as need be. But like for you specifically, on your journey, because I know you can handle it. What I would say for you is how I have always approached this myself is that I will look at depending on like what kind of hardware I'm building. If it's a motherboard, if it's just a component upgrade, or if it's like an actual piece of hardware, a piece of kit, like a laptop itself, right? There's always a range where it will fall, and there's a lot of research that's done, and a lot of really great benchmarks out there that's done, and there's an aggregate of that. There are many websites that, and we can talk about some of those. Folks in the chat, I'm sure everybody uses different ones to do it, but once just like, for example, in the ROG Ally example, for example, right? As soon as it came out, like there are a bunch of benchmarks that are done. Why? Because that specific reference design is the same chip that's used in many different other pieces of hardware. Yeah, ROG the Ally may be a nuanced difference because it is it's a SKU difference, right? So they're calling it the Z1 Extreme, even though the standard variant is the 7000 series. But by and large, when that 7000 series comes out, it's put on 15 different devices, we'll say. Different manufacturers all put it. They all have their own different cooling solutions, and the cooling solution is what determines how performant it is, right? So a lot of people take that exact same hardware and they benchmark it over and over and over and over again. So you get a good range of seeing when you're looking at it, hey, here's where I should expect the mine will fall, right? That same simple idea can be brought to bear on the PC side, right? Motherboard, CPU, RAM combinations, right, are very specific, right? And like a lot of that, when you combine them together, there are very specific kind of power profiles that you'll get from that. And there's a lot of research you can do, and of course I can help you with all those details as well. But long story short, you will start understanding what your capabilities are in relation to others when you have your CPU GPU combination, right? You know what you should expect. And people, a lot of times, people throw around a lot of those big numbers, right? They throw a lot of those big time spy numbers and the huge numbers, right? It makes no sense to people in general in a vacuum. But even that, you can compare that to others and see the threshold of where you fit in relation to others that have comparable hardware, right? That's basically what that's supposed to help you with. So if you fall behind, then you know that, hey, maybe I need to shore up my cooling, or maybe I need to, look in the background for some optimization or background processes I need to get rid of, things like that. It's not really like an exact science, but it's supposed to point you in the direction of, hey, this is where you should be performing if you have like for like hardware. So if you're not there, then check your system, because you might need to do some tweaking, kind of a thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
that's the basics of it.
I get you. So let's give folks like an idea when you're gonna launch a game. Like, let's say when you're gonna play Dead Island 2, right? Yeah. Do you always try to minimize what's running in the background and stuff like that, or are you at the point now where you're just like, I just want to play a game, let me just turn it on, and if it hits 90 FPS, it hits 90 FPS?
So I'm an old school graybeard, and as such, before I play any game, unless we're talking about, all right, before I play any game that's full screen, because I play some games that aren't full screen. When I say full screen, I mean I have Vampire Survivors running in the corner. Like, I can do that, right? And that will run while I have I have a monitor. Okay. So first off, so that you understand who you're dealing with in me, I have a ultra wide 1440p 3440 by 1440 p hertz, so ultra wide, right? And that's what I use. So basically, if you cut it in half, it's almost like a dual monitor side by side. Yeah. And then I have on top, I have a gigabyte 34-inch 4K monitor. Yeah, so 21 by 9 1440p. Yes, absolutely, Kirby Louise. Yeah, thank you for that in the chat. So I run dual monitors like that, always at a really high clip. So the top one is running at 4K 144 hertz. The bottom one is running at 1440p at 100 hertz. So my resources are always used, right? It's like, if I really want to optimize it for a game, I shut one of the monitors off, and then I have all my resources dedicated to one. But I'm okay with it because I have 64 gigs of RAM. I have so much overhead. I'm okay with it. But my ritual is still like, if I'm coming to play like Jedi Survivor or I'm playing specifically Jedi Survivor, because it's not so well optimized. Well optimized games, I don't care too much. I'll just hit play. But if I know you're not well optimized, I will reboot my system before I play you. That way, all background processes are gone. It's just stock. I know that I always keep my stuff that runs when Windows starts very sparse to be able to make sure that there's no ridiculousness running in the background. So if I'm about to like do a session of that, I will. Yeah,
that's pinky up Keosante, ready to utilize the 4090 to its full.
That's when I put on the leather gloves. I break out the old Elite controller. The whole thing. We're about to get it in for the evening, ladies and gentlemen.
The kids are in bed. Don't bother me. I'm going in.
Wifey's asleep. It's after midnight. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so I'm kind of like I'm kind of
hold on real quick. Hold on. Sure. Shout out to the man, the myth, the legend. I haven't seen him in a minute, but he's on these streets. Great content creator himself.
Oh, I remember Cybernaut. He was with Boom, right?
Absolutely, yes.
I remember.
He has one of the great channel. We used to always do. We stream together some Halo content. Shout out to you, good sir. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. And he asked the question: is it worth going to the ultra wide side? Okay. Now, first and foremost, I have to say, pause. I don't know why, but I just feel the need to do that.
Anyway. I mean, I'm Hispanic, so ultra wide is always better. No, it's our choice. No.
Okay. PG-13, sir. No.
We like the curves, sir, on this side.
Yeah. I like my ultra wide monitor because as John has said on this show a few times already, like to me too, 1440p is the sweet spot, right? But I don't like 1440p standard monitor. I don't know. I've always thought a 1440p standard size monitor was a little lackluster, right? So I was like, if I'm going to live in that 1440p world, I want to live ultra wide. So I went 21:9, right? And now there are like 32:9s, and there are even ridiculous, crazy ones that like curve around your face. It's just nuts.
Do you have the issue though where you get those black bars when games aren't optimized for it?
Actually, believe it or not, more and more games are optimized for it than you'd think. And when they're not optimized for it, there are, this is PC, there's easy fixes to get it to be, like we were playing it. The worst case scenario you'll get in a modded world is maybe the UI elements on the game, the screen of the game won't fall exactly correctly because the mod solution, but you can get it to run in ultra wide, right? Then of course when there's like a cinematic, that'll cut to like 16:9 and then go back to 21:9 when the real action starts. So it's not the worst thing in the world. It's definitely doable, and I've really enjoyed my use of it. Like I would not trade this thing for anything. I really, really like using my 21:9 screen.
Yeah.
And movies are excellent. Like to your point, like if it doesn't support it, there's bars left and right. When you watch a letterboxed movie, it's not letterboxed; it's the whole screen.
Okay. So
there you go.
So let me ask you this: like, we do want to work on our little project with the panel that we'll get to touchscreen. I want that sucker to have volume knobs and everything, be fully customizable. Let's say, because I've watched a couple of reviews right lately. Recently, I remember watching Oh No, It's Alex review Ratchet and Clank. Okay, and he went deep pause on the game. He played it, through various forms. He tried it on hard drives, on on the Steam Deck.
That it wasn't what they said it was or whatever.
Yeah. So, but besides all that stuff with the SSD, fiasco, one of the things that I was listening to him is that because he's a PC advocate, and one of the things I was listening to him was what he was talking about, like CPU utilization of the game, stuff like that, right? And that's something that I feel, at least for me, that I'm not at the level yet where I understand those things. Like if you told me right now, hey, I want you to launch a game and I want you to tell me what type of performance you had on this game, I wouldn't really know what to tell you other than, hey, I was able to run it at this resolution at these frames. Like, is that good or is that bad? I don't know, right? So me, for example, I do have 32 gigs of memory. I don't know if that's good in today's market. I got it because honestly, like, and this is going to be funny, the reason that I got it is because I didn't want it to have any slots empty on the motherboard, and I wanted the little lights to go. But I was like, hey, I'm kind of building this PC. Let me buy it. I don't know how this is going to help, but I'm assuming more is always going to help, right? So that's the thing that I guess I don't really know enough yet to understand the importance, of like the motherboard combination with the, with the memory, and then like we talked about last week with the VRAM stuff, like why, like for example, one simple question, why is the memory on my PC different than the VRAM on my graphics card?
That is the
stuff like that.
Wonderful question you're asking, and of course, people in Mac world go, yeah, why? because not too long ago, Apple unified their memory, so now when you get a system on the Mac side, your RAM is your RAM. It's not your VRAM versus your standard RAM. They leverage it across the board, which I advocate on the Windows side. If they ever did that would really change things up, right? So why is it that way? It's an old arcade, and I'm sure what I'm going to say will ruffle some feathers. To me, it's an old archaic system that was what it was when it was useful at its time, and Apple saw at some point that they could score some points by getting away from that. and because there's such an interest in entrenched history, as it were, that there's so much entrenched history that there's a better way, in my humble opinion. I honestly think that the Apple's way of unifying the RAM is a better outcome for future use, but it's like turning an old yacht with all the history and all the Stankonia of Windows. Good luck. Like it'll take a long time for that to do that. They do have support for it, right? And they have been doing it in the laptop space a lot with iGPUs. They've been doing it more in those spaces because you need more overhead there, right? You don't get as much overhead because you're in a mobile space, right? So that has been happening more and more. But unlike in the Mac space where they go, okay, we're all moving this way and you're moving with us, right? In the Windows space, they add existing features onto the existing base. So it's very hard to turn the whole ship to a new paradigm. It just keeps adding like existing, they add new features onto the existing paradigm, making it difficult for people to switch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do. The way to look at it, I think, like for me to kind of understand, it's like think of it as a car, right? Like and each, you know, the engine has different parts that are used for different things, even though that, you know, you would think that one can power the other or vice versa, right? And that's kind of like the way that I started thinking about it. You know, it's weird because the deeper you get into the PC waters, you quickly realize how when you first put everything together, maybe you could have done something better. And that's something that I'm slowly realizing. I think that my first mistake, which is a rookie mistake, is that I bought a pre-built. That was mistake number one, right? What you hear around the you know, it's like a stigma. You never buy pre-built, right? But I did so.
On this show, I will never hate on you for buying pre-built. If you want to buy a PC and you don't have the skills or you're not comfortable, it's always a foot in the door. You just hope you get the right vendor. These days, it's kind of a crapshoot depending on where you go. But if you get a decent pre-built, hey, good on you, man.
Yeah, and whatever gets your foot in, whatever gets your foot in the door, right? But one of the things that I learned, right, about the whole pre-built thing was, hey, do a little bit of research on what parts and components they're putting into this thing, because if you that, if you do your homework, you will quickly realize that you may be getting gypped. Okay, because it depends on the power source. It depends, you know, on what they're putting in there, which is usually how they kind of skimp the consumer, right? So that's very important to do your research there, because I learned the hard way. I got a motherboard which was renowned for having problems with the USB, and I remember that on one of your earlier shows of Gaming Circle podcast, my camera kept on dropping, and it's because those USB hubs were bad, and they were bad from factory. Okay, whatever the case may be, I'm glad that happened, because that was my learning lesson, and then eventually I built my own thing, and you know, and I'm here now. But just word of advice for newbies like me out there: just be careful with that stuff. So you want to read that super chat?
Kirby Louise, yes, absolutely. Shout out to the man Kirby Louise with a $10 super chat. He says, RAM is like gas. You want higher octane, speed, and low latency, but it does you no good if you run out of capacity, which is absolutely true. Yes, you know, and he's also explaining. He was also explaining in the chat a bit more why there are differences in GPU RAM versus standard system RAM, right? And yeah, that is the existing and very true explanations he has in the chat. Absolutely true, right? Like, it is the environment that exists within Windows and has always existed in Windows for a reason, right? And it's not arbitrary, absolutely not. I'm not saying it is, but because and I know when I say this, people will think that this is me bashing Windows and praising Mac, but I'm not. Because the Mac operating system and the company behind it can pivot so easily. Well, not easily, but they can pivot the entire platform one versus another immediate, and then everyone has to follow suit.
Yeah, right? A lot easier because of the market.
That's right. They seem to get the benefits of that new of the future looking vision more, right? Like what they're doing now, right? Exactly. You know, whereas even if assuming like let's say Microsoft did what Apple is doing, which create their own silicon and all of that, right? There's no way the rollout would look anything like what Apple is doing right now.
Right.
They switched from PowerPC way back in the day to Intel, and then switched from Intel to their own custom chip. They did 2 switches in the last, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years, right? Something like that. Microsoft would be doing 1 switch in the last 10 years because it takes that long to turn the yacht that is Windows with all of its historical cruft. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. You want to get Gerald Mack's super chat? I think he sent one.
Absolutely, I want to get the great Gerald Mack with a $5 super chat. He says, shout out to the Gamers Playground. #, Great Beers, the foundation. We them boys, we outside.
Not today, Gerald Mack. I got that just for men. Not today.
I say, and Gerald, happy first day of school to little man. He's out
That's
there.
Right.
Gerald had photos with him. He's out there. I'm like, man, the summer gets shorter and shorter every year. Like, what the hell, man? He's already going back to school. That sucks.
Yeah, man. And we appreciate you, Gerald J Mac, for always being on and always giving us words of encouragement, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we really appreciate you. But like, to get back to this main conversation, right? Honestly, I feel like that's the parlance that people speak with when talking PC that sometimes goes a bit too far for some. And what I mean by that is some people will be like, oh, that's why PC is, there's too much about it, drivers and support and all this.
That's right.
That is a thing of the past, right? You yourself right now, John, right? You're talking about how, hey, we don't know where our trending analysis lies. How do I know this? How do I know that? Right now in today's world, you want to know that. You don't need to know that. Not anymore, right?
That's true.
Back in the day, you knowing that was the difference between it running and it turning into a pile of rubble in the corner, right? Like,
okay.
Like back in the day when the what do you call it? There was a universal standard. Like these days, there's a universal standard, right? You can't install a motherboard wrong. You can't install a PCIe slot wrong. You can't do that, right? Like if you have any kind of small acumen for technology or instruction following, you can put that thing together yourself.
Well, you can. You can put it wrong and then you break it and then you have to go back.
Sure.
Not speaking from experience, of course.
Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Like you can still brick your system, but I'm just saying we've come a long way from where we started, right? And because of that, now you live in a world where if you want the benefits of quote unquote PCMR, you can still get that without knowing the first thing about any of this, right? You can get, like you said, a well-equipped, well-spec'd, you can go to your local shop, talk to somebody you trust, have them help you build a system. You cannot know the difference between FPS and megahertz. Like you cannot know, it doesn't matter, right? As long as you have somebody you trust, they can outfit you with a quality 30 series or an AMD variant, get you home, and you will be able to have a great time and hit ridiculous frame rates and not even know what the hell any of it means.
I agree.
That can be your reality today.
I agree 100%. But I will say this because this is from personal experience. The same way that there's a lot of PlayStation fanboys out there, there's a lot of Nvidia fanboys out there because I remember going to Best Buy while I was doing my homework and I was gonna jump in the waters and everybody's like, don't do AMD, don't do AMD. You get an Nvidia. I'm like, oh, are you sure? I mean, in looking at today, they're kind of right. I do kind of prefer the Nvidia side of the house, but I'm playing more and more with the AMD software through the Asus ROG Ally, and I have to say, if you know and you take the time to learn their tools, it's you can optimize the games, and you just have to take the time.
Beards in here. Shout out to Dorian Gray. He says, "Remember the days updating a BIOS gave you high blood pressure and anxiety attacks?" Hell yeah, I do.
Thank God I don't.
Hell yeah, I do. I remember the days and I've worked in IT for a long time. I'm now at a place where it's old hat. But I remember the days when there used to be gurus, and they are gurus, man. They walk around. Everybody's in business casual. They got loafers on, or they're walking around in business casual and flip flops, and they got long hair, and they smell bad, and they're just hanging out in their cubicles because they know that they're the only ones that know how to install the NIC drivers. Yeah, you heard me right. I said they're the only ones that know how to install the NIC drivers. Absolutely. Yes. But yes,
I'm going to pretend I know what that means. I don't know what those NIC drivers mean, but that sounds like a headache.
Yeah. You know what NIC drivers are. Yes, you use them all the time. Network installation card, like just NIC cards, like in your system. Back in the day, it required effort to install them. And those who knew how to do that, yes, those who knew how to do it held it over a lot of people.
You were a god among men.
That's right. They cost corporate America a lot of money just to say they can install NICs.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yes,
but
we've come a long way, sir.
And I think that I really do think that cell phones and smartphones had smartphones had a big I think that they had a big hand in this, where
huge impact on the community.
On because
the world.
I think that it really helped a lot of people become more techie in the sense and get more in the tech world, and made it more trendy. So shout out to the iPhone for that, because I think that was a turning point for technology. I think that was a big.
I do 100% agree with you. Funny stat: the first, what was it? The iPhone 3G, right? If you remember the iPhone 3G, I guess that's the third iPhone.
I think I had it. Right? Yep.
Yeah. I think it's the iPhone that hit critical mass, right?
Yeah.
That iPhone, when the year it came out, right, had more power in it and processing power in it than the supercomputer, quote unquote. You don't see me today, but I'm doing air quotes. Then the supercomputer that ran all the systems in Rhode Island's municipality.
Wow.
You basically were walking around in your pocket with a computer that was more capable for doing everything that you need to do, and you were browsing the web, and a comparable system was sitting in a state capital running all of their critical systems.
The people in the power factory must have been freaking out. They must be like, somebody wants an iPhone just in case.
But that and that's not to tell you how bad their hardware was. It's how much of an uplift the iPhone was, literally putting quote unquote a supercomputer in your pocket, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah. And of course now, and I completely agree with you. It's to that credit. Everyone now has some basic level of computer understanding, because they all have a smartphone in their pocket.
Yeah, and the thing is, right? As you know, I visited South Korea earlier this year, and over there, it's a PC market 100%. They think that consoles and handhelds like the Switch and stuff, they really do see that kind of like as an entry, as a beginner's kind of device for gaming. They take their stuff seriously when it comes to PC. And I've also asked a lot of my work colleagues and a lot of my friends that have kids, hey, what do you like? Are your kids asking you for consoles? Or are they asking you for PC? And I find myself more and more having to have conversations with them that their kids really want PCs. Like, they're pushing for PCs and smartphones and iPads and stuff like that. I'm hearing less and less, hey, my kid wants a Switch. Hey, my kid wants a PS5. Like, I'm hearing that less and less. And us, okay, we take kind of like these kind of small dose tests with our own kids. And, I flat out asked my daughter, hey, right now I can give you any device for you to play at school. Okay. that was the thing. And she better not be doing that, but I give you any device for you to play at school. What would you take with you? And automatically she said an iPad. Like, didn't even think twice. So it just goes to show you that this, the where me and you grew up with our Super Nintendos, Sega Genesis, and all that good stuff. These kids, they want touch screen. They want the latest and greatest. They understand what. I kind of feel bad for them, because these companies, they're falling right into their hands where you know where the FOMO thing that I talked about earlier, they're gonna suffer from a lot, worse than our generation. But I definitely
But you
see.
know what, though? You know what though? I actually push back a little bit on you about
Sure.
the FOMO-ness, right?
Sure.
We are very NLB, newest, latest, best. That's
Yeah.
what we are, right? Like I have spent some time with some kiddos as of recently, but both mine and my nieces and nephews and whatnot. So I've covered the spread of 9 all the way to 4 and everything in between.
Hmm.
As long as the screen turns on, they are playing Roblox. They
Yeah,
are
yeah, for
playing
sure.
Minecraft. They don't
Right.
give 2 craps if
What
the
device?
screen is about to fall apart.
Yeah.
As long as the screen can respond, they are playing their game. Like, is it the screen is it the TV screen that you need them to use to do it? Fine. Is it the computer
Yes.
screen? Sure. Is it the phone screen? As long as it's the screen, it is the simplest way to get to their Minecraft / Roblox / whatever.
No, I
it may
agree.
be.
I agree. And kids
Yeah.
are the furthest thing from
Missionary gamers.
Oh,
100,
God.
100%. They're the furthest thing. My daughter will play on anything. Like she doesn't care, and it's like she has no
Although-
loyalty. She has no brand recognition. She's just like, oh,
I
that's a
will
game
say
I want to
something-
play.
I will say I found something super interesting. Okay, super interesting. As I am becoming a handheld kind of guy myself, and I'm finding all these use cases for these handheld devices and whatnot, right? So you have your Steam Decks that you use for emulation, and it does all this low TDP magic, right? You have I have as you folks know, I have gotten separate devices that fit different parts of those categories. So we have the G Cloud, which goes all the way up to like Wii, Nintendo
Right.
Wii, right?
Yeah.
So you can do your 3D gaming all the way to Wii, right? And then I got the Powkiddy X55 that does everything right up to 3D, right? And I figure, you know what? We'll hand all that to the games. Maybe my kids won't like it because it's too old school or whatever. They love it. They'll play all of that. They're playing OG Sonic. They're playing all that stuff.
That's good, man.
The
That's good. You're
only
teaching them all that
requirement-
stuff.
The only thing that I did not account for that they're like, nope, this is a bridge too far. The screen must be touchable. If they touch that screen and it doesn't respond, they're like, get this old tech out of here. They're done.
Wow, that's incredible. Where us, I guess that you can say our generation needed color.
Mhm.
We needed the whatever
Yeah.
we were watching to have color, or else we thought like,
Mhm.
hey, what's going on here? Something's wrong.
Bro,
So-
I have them playing Balloon Fight. Like, so a quick aside, and we're close to the end of our show. So, but I've been eyeballing it. It's really hard to get these days because they're really hard whenever they come out. They sell out quickly. Finally got my hands on a Raspberry Pi, an
Ooh.
8 gig Raspberry Pi.
Okay, those are great.
A quad processor, 8 gigs. I think it's like it's the latest version of the Raspberry Pi that's out there with all the latest and greatest. I think Model B or whatever. But I basically got that, and I'm gonna work with my daughter, and she's gonna build a retro console into a screen and have it in her room.
That's what
She
I'm
wants,
talking about,
Daddy,
man.
I want a screen on my wall. I want a TV. I'm like, nah, daughter, you're building one. You want a console? You have to
You're-
build one yourself. you
Let me
know?
tell you, appreciate that, because the thing is that like my daughter's a very girly girl. Shit, for
Yeah.
me to get her to play any type of game, like I like the other day she saw me playing God, what game was I playing? I think I was playing Call of Duty or something like. Yeah, it was Call of
Mhm.
Duty, and I'm like, hey, do you wanna give you want to try out so you can learn
Mhm.
how to use the controls and stuff? And she looks at it and she goes, nah, sorry, Dad, that's not colorful enough or whatever. Can I go back to Roblox?
Aw.
And I'm like, it's all right.
Aw.
So my wife.
Dashing daddy's dreams.
No,
Oh,
it's cool. It's cool. My wife laughs and she goes, "Sorry, she's a girly girl. You got to get her to play those colorful games or Roblox where she
Uh-huh.
dresses up her, her little action figure and stuff like that." I'm
Yep,
like,
yep,
as
yep.
long as she plays something, it's cool. So
yep.
so I get exactly what you mean, but take advantage of that, man. That she's into it and she wants to.
Both the kids are really into it now. Like my son is all in on Mario. Maya's all in on what do you call it? Mario Kart and Minecraft and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So they're on their way. Gaming.
I will say
Mhm.
though, I got to give her credit. She does like Shredder's Revenge, and
she's first game she beat by herself.
Nice.
Yes,
And
yes.
she does like Shredder's Revenge, and I convinced her for us to do kind of like the recording thing that I talked about earlier. For us to we're gonna record all of the Ninja Turtle games together, like the Turtles in Time, you know, all that stuff, you know. So I want that like
fantastic,
you know, saved for you know, for me for the future and stuff. So
yeah,
man. So okay, so
Mr. Gerald Mack, real quick, he asked the question: Fallen Atlas. Well, is it Fallen Atlas or Atlas Fallen?
Yeah,
Atlas Fallen, I think it is. Yeah, he's asking yes or no. I don't know if it is yes or no as far as quality, but day one for me, yes, sir. I'm there. I definitely want to check it out. It has me intrigued. I will report back once it releases and I play it, sir. But yes, thank you for watching. That is a very, very, like, I don't know if you've checked that out. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Looks really good.
Yeah, it does. It looks good. Yeah, it's not going to be a day one. I'm not a day one type of guy anymore. These games, they're coming out with patches weeks later. If you buy day one now, man, these companies are ripping you, man. You know. But hey, one thing I want to talk about real fast before we go. This is another thing, and it took me a while for it to hit me today because work was kind of hectic today. But when I got some time to wind down and really think about it, I was disappointed, just like the rest of the PC community, when Rockstar, you know, they kind of forgot about, you know, the PC gamers here. They're re-releasing Red Dead Redemption on the Switch and the PS4. Lazy port, if you ask me, but whatever. Well, you know, we'll talk about that another day. But it took me a while to realize, wait a minute, this is technically coming to PC for us because we don't have to worry about that, because this is another instance where PC gaming and where you being in the PC ecosystem, you could take advantage of things like emulation and stuff like that. So if you really think about it, it won't be too long before we're playing Red Dead Redemption either through Yuzu or Ryujinx at 4K 60.
I mean, so you can technically do that right now, sir.
No, I know.
There is a version out there that can be upscaled through emulation. You know, like I hear you on that, right? I hear you. I hear how you're moving on that. But you need to shake it. You need to shake that stuff your shoulders, sir. That is old console talk. Oh, we're second class citizens. Nah, man. We do what we want here.
No, it's true though. It's true though, because I quickly found myself being bummed out, and I tweeted about it. And I go, "Hey, Rockstar, come on, man! You know, you kind of forgot about us."
Oh yeah, I can totally play this on the 360 emulator,
dude,
and then bump the resolution up to 8K if my hardware can handle it.
No, for sure, and I will, you know, be playing the game that way because I refuse to play the version that Rockstar wants us to play, because when that tweet went out, I was like, bruh, that ain't it. all right no, that ain't it.
And for those who are on Xbox, you have nothing to worry about either. You've been playing the 4K version for a long time now. They upscaled that thing a long time ago, right?
That's just getting
people in line. It's just getting people in line, like the PlayStation and the Switch versions, up to par with, you know, what's already existing. I see no issue there, you know. Although I do agree with you, there should be a PC version. There definitely
I mean, there should be, but again, this is like another tip of the hat that I'm so glad that I'm invested in the PC space, because to be honest with you, I didn't even have to worry about it, and I didn't think at first that, you know, the console piece of the brain started working. I'm like, oh man, here we go again, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm everything's fine. I mean, I can just emulate that sucker, so it's not even a big deal, man.
Oh my god,
that Latino you know, went up for nothing.
That thing you just described, it brings me up that there's this cartoon called The Boondocks, and there's a scenario that plays out exactly the way you describe, but it's not in the way you describe, and it's completely inappropriate. And that's what I can think of when you just said this. For those who know, if you ask me, I'll tell you later. It is hilarious and completely inappropriate. He gets very close to losing his life, and then he goes, "Oh wait, I ain't got to do that. I'm fill in the blanks," and then walks off. and the other dude is like, "Come on, what are you doing? This is a perfectly good opportunity to throw your life away." Anyway,
for sure.
Let us move on. No, on this topic, on the topic of this, I honestly think that we are at the best time for all this PC stuff and all this, you know, getting all the stuff together. What do you call it? Starfield will be a wonderful, wonderful example and experiment for everyone to get running on their machines and this and that. So I'm excited to be doing this show with you, sir, so that when that time comes, you'll be seeing it running on them handhelds and the big devices and all the devices in between. So I'm looking forward to that talk, and I'm looking forward to chopping it up and doing all that with you guys in the community as well. I'm sure this will really, really kick into high gear when
and
Starfield
I have a feeling Starfield has converted a couple of our own Xbox community members that I've been seeing on Twitter.
Absolutely. We need to get some folks on this show and have that conversation about what their transition was like, why they felt the need to come on this side of the house. A lot of people are picking up PCs, and it looks like the reason for that is Starfield. So we're most likely going to have some conversations with some of the other great community members here and get their takes on why they are where they are with it. But I think that's about that where we should leave it, Mr. John Wolf. We've sprinkled a few tips and tidbits into this episode while we were having our chat. So we'll leave that as is. The backlog assignment for next week, sir, is the Sleeping Dogs. And you know what? I will even play that because I always am looking for a new excuse to play that game. I'll install it and I'll have some game footage. Maybe we'll talk about that. I also, believe it or not, was given a code by a very good publisher, and they wanted me to check out their game. So next week, you'll see me. I may talk about it on GCP, but also talk about it on here as well.
That's awesome.
Let folks know, what my thoughts are, my honest opinions, and this and that. So come check us out next week as well. Mr. John Wolf, it's always a pleasure podcasting with you, sir. Tell the fine people where they can keep up with your trolling exploits, sir.
Trolling? What do you mean trolling?
Exactly.
Come on, man. There's no trolling here.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, guys. So, Kay, first of all, I want to say it's always a pleasure, man, doing the show with you. Thank you so much I know you weren't feeling too well. Thanks for putting on your general hat and holding the line, as King David would say. So you definitely held the line, man. We really appreciate it. I know I do, and the community does. Great show, man. Great discussion as always. This is the type of conversations that I really enjoy having with you, because I'm not coming to you just looking for answers. I'm coming to you just wanting to have a conversation about some of these things that I'm thinking about as I'm new to this space and stuff like that. That it's really I think that what's great about this community is that you're excited because you've gone through all the hoops and you kind of figured things out along the way. And I think that that's kind of the journey everybody has to take. It's good to always have someone shepherd them, but at the same time, it's so rewarding when you put in the work and you do your homework and you get things figured out, and you get something to run, or you figure something out on your PC and builds and stuff like that. I think that that's part of the fun in being in the PC space. So so I really do encourage everyone here that if you're listening and you haven't gotten your feet wet in the PC space, I really encourage you guys to really, and you guys and girls to really jump in and give it a shot. I mean, it's something that I thought I would never find myself being part of the PC gaming community. I was like, look, PCs are for work. That was kind of my mentality. I would just want to turn on my system. I don't want to think about it. But now I find myself as that's part of me. That's part of the enjoyment for me of the game. That I feel like I've unlocked something within the game that's giving me this new appreciation for gaming. That it's, I'm not just settling for whatever, these publishers and these developers want to give me. Now I have choice. I feel like, when you do have choice, it opens up your horizons. And that's where I feel like we're at today. And for sure, we're going to have more conversations like this in the future. And like always, chat, if you guys have any ideas that you want to throw our ways, if you want to be a guest, if you have a similar journey to me or Kay, and you want to share that here on this space, that's what this is for. This is a conversational podcast. We're not looking, to tell you guys, just feed you guys news and stuff like that. We want to have conversations. Until next week, Kay, I'll be trolling them X streets, because that's what it's called now, and not formerly known as Twitter. So I gotta borrow some people, I gotta bother them, and
I hope they appreciate it.
All right, for myself,
I'm getting it out of my system. Come on.
for myself, and the trolling heartthrob himself, Mr. John Wolf. It's been a fun episode. You see, we like having those interesting conversations that may not be your daily immediate breaking news. In some spaces, the breaking news would have been that New Zealand has just approved the ABK deal. That happened an hour ago, but you can find that elsewhere. On this show, we talk to you about all things gamers and all things PCMR. But until next week, it's been a great conversation. We'll see you then. Keep it gaming and stop the missionary gaming stuff there, Mr. John Wolf. I need to see some visuals before you continue on this line of thought.
Let's see what I come up with. Let's see what I come up with.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.